People tend to be afraid of things they don't know very much about. The way to deal with that, in my opinion, is not to ban it, not to ban something we're afraid of, but rather to educate people, to make people aware of the fact that this is something that's most likely going to make you safer, not less safe.
I believe there's a large stigma against firearms, especially on campus, and a lot of that has to do with poor myths that are running around. There's a lot of media attention against weapons, against firearms, and they tend not to show any attention towards the benefits of firearms, or that there's nearly 2.5 million uses a year of firearms in self-defense.
Here in Michigan, in order to conceal carry, you need a license. Otherwise, it's what's called a CCW violation, which stands for carrying a concealed weapon. To get your concealed pistol license, or a CPL, there are a number of requirements. Then you need to go through a process. You need to complete a training course that will cover basically firearms safety, the law on when you can and can't shoot in order to defend yourself or to defend somebody else. You'll be taken out on a range and you'll be shown how to use a weapon, how to fire one safely, how to fire at a defensive situation. You are only allowed to use a pistol at a case where either your life is threatened, somebody else's life is threatened, or somebody is at risk of great bodily harm. Something where somebody is in imminent danger of being raped or being killed or being very severely injured. But if you are licensed, then you are allowed to carry a handgun for your own protection.
These are your two most common concealed weapons. This is the Ruger LCP. It's your semi-auto version. This holds up to 6 rounds. Then this is your Smith & Wesson 642. This is your standard revolver. And the reason they're the most common is because they are so small. The old quote was, the smaller the better. Just nobody knows you're carrying it. You're going to have it on you more often because it's not so heavy. Some guys will carry it in a shoulder holster that'll go right underneath their arm, but anywhere inconspicuous, basically.
There are over 200,000 people right now who are licensed to carry a pistol in the state of Michigan. They're people who typically know a lot about firearms. They know about the law concerning firearms. They're serious about protecting themselves, about protecting their families, and about protecting other individuals who might be around them in case a violent crime happens. They're individuals who take the time and effort to prepare themselves should the worst happen. And I think that's prudent to do. Most of us don't experience house fires, but we put up smoke detectors. Most of us are not in serious collisions in our cars, but we tend to buy cars that have airbags and seat belts and other types of safety features. So even if the events are rare, I think it's prudent to prepare for them. I've been licensed for about 1.5 years now. It's a responsibility that I take very seriously. The last thing in the world I ever want to do is to shoot somebody. I carry it because I want to protect myself, because I want to protect my family should the worst happen. If you have a concealed pistol license, there are still some places where you're not allowed to carry. Grand Valley University has an internal rule in place that basically bans all weapons on the campus, and that includes guns, knives, pepper spray. The hope is that it will keep weapons out of those areas, and pistol-free zones are designed to keep those with criminal intent out of them. If you're a person with criminal intent, my argument has always been that you're going to be exactly the person who's going to ignore a pistol-free zone. Think about the news and think about where you see mass shootings taking place. Very often they're college campuses. Everybody remembers, I would imagine, Virginia Tech, the worst mass shooting on a college campus. The gentleman who committed that shooting was pretty clear of his intentions. He actually did a lot of preparation. He sent in a videotape detailing his grievances against the university. He armed himself with several pistols and he carried out his attack in stages. One shooting killed a couple of individuals in a dorm, walked across campus to a second building, bolted the doors to that building shut, took chains, padlocks, padlocked the building shut, and then started systematically shooting individuals in classrooms in the building. Had a student or a professor in one of those classrooms been armed, I think there's a very decent chance that they might have been able to shoot back and defend themselves and defend other individuals. Instead of 31 people losing their lives, very realistically, it might have been less.
If something occurs halfway across campus, how long is it going to take for the police to be able to respond to it? Virginia Tech took 8 minutes since the first gunshot went off inside that classroom before police were even able to get in there. And how many students were killed execution style is just, it's crazy.
Crimes happen very fast, and chances are by the time the police arrive, they're not going to have the opportunity to stop the crime in progress. What they're doing is they're dealing with the aftermath. And that's one of the reasons why I'm troubled by the fact that I can't legally carry a pistol here at Grand Valley. I respect that that's the current administration's point of view. I respect their rules, but I don't see it as being grounded in empirical reality, that there's a good reason why this location should be special relative to other locations in Michigan.
Grand Valley, even though it's out in the middle of Allendale, Michigan, is not going to be completely free of crime. And the fact remains that there is a possibility that a shooting could occur and that rapes do in fact occur on Grand Valley, and forcible rapes on our campus itself. People have a right to self-defense.
I do think that individuals who take the time to be trained and who are serious about defending themselves should have the opportunity to do so. I think in the society we live in America, there are about 300 million guns in circulation. In a society like that, the bad guys are going to have guns. And we can then make a decision that we're either going to prevent the good guys from having guns, or we're going to allow them to do what's necessary to defend themselves. And I see that as the second is a better choice. I would just urge anybody, before they formulate an opinion on this issue, one way or the other, get informed. Read about some of the incidents. Incidents where people who are licensed have stopped crimes in progress, have saved themselves, have saved their family members. Educate yourself, become informed, and then formulate your opinion.